And that's where CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes is standing by. She joins us now from Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, close by to where this summit will take place. Good morning again to you, Nancy. So President Trump will be where you are momentarily. Who will be he meeting with, and what is on his agenda for the rest of today?
Well, he's going to be meeting with dozens of world leaders, Errol, who have flown here from all around the globe with the same mission to try to hammer out the details of this peace plan to ensure that the ceasefire holds and that there is an end to the war, an official end to the war in sight. And in order to do that, they really need to figure out some very key details of this timeline. For example, Israel has agreed to withdraw from Gaza in stages, but under what conditions would Israel withdraw completely? Also, the president's 20-point plan calls for members of Hamas who want to stay in Gaza to hand over their weapons. That is something that has caused some commotion among members of Hamas, as you might expect. And so the question becomes, who do they hand their weapons over to, and when, and how? So some very basic elements of this peace plan that still need to be worked out, and they'll start to do it at this summit here in Sharm el-Sheikh.
And Egypt, Nancy, is a nation that sits on the border of Gaza. When Palestinians had evacuated as refugees, Egypt is a place that some of them head to. We know Qatar is a nation that's acted as a mediator between Israel and Hamas, but of course it experienced a strike that seemed to change the equation of what would happen next. What do these nations want to see come out of today's summit?
Well, they would like to see a really robust conversation about Palestinian self-determination, the possibility that Palestine could become a state, and the path to that eventually happening. They also have some very nuts and bolts concerns about the leadership of Gaza and the rebuilding of Gaza. The 20-point plan calls for a group of Palestinian technocrats to essentially take over Gaza from Hamas. Who are these leaders? How is their leadership group going to be constituted? And then how is Gaza going to be rebuilt, and how quickly? How do you get some form of an economy functioning again in Gaza? They have a lot of concerns. And yesterday on Face the Nation, the Egyptian Prime Minister discussed some of them, Foreign Minister rather. Take a listen.
What's very urgent now is, of course, ending this war on the innocent civilians in Gaza, provide as much as food and medicine to the people there, and then we have to move forward with regard to the early recovery and reconstructions of Gaza. And of course, talking about issues related to the governance and the security arrangement in Gaza. And of course, from our point of view, the end game, the final comprehensive solution will be the realization of the Palestinian state without respecting the legitimate aspirations of the Palestinians to have their own statehood. There is no peace and stability in the region.
Errol, I don't know if you can hear this behind us, but we're hearing several very loud fighter jets. In fact, I'm now sure you can, which is an indication that Air Force One is about to land, and that the Egyptians, as has become something of a tradition here in the Middle East, have sent fighter jets to escort Air Force One to the airport, which is just about a mile from here. It's something that we saw take place when the president visited Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the UAE a few months ago, and clearly it has caught on here in the Middle East.
Emphasizing just how close Nancy Cordes is to all the action and where things are happening. Nancy, as those fighter jets were overhead, we were listening to the Egyptian foreign minister speak about what needs to happen next in Gaza and for the Palestinians. And one thing he noted was security for the Palestinians. If Hamas, which was Israel's goal to disband it, to eliminate it, if Hamas will not be part of a future Gaza, what entity what people will now have a hand in keeping Gaza safe and secure? Do we know?
We do know, and we have at least a framework. So one of the things that's going to be discussed here today, Errol, is the creation of an international stabilization force, essentially a peacekeeping force made up, one would presume, of military members from various countries to go into Gaza and basically enforce the ceasefire and help establish order in Gaza until the Gazans can protect themselves. And so that is going to lead to some discussions about which countries will be involved, what kinds of troops they will send, how large of a contingent they will send, how those troops would work together, and so on. And then there's also the question of a Gaza police force. One of the things that President Trump has said is that Gaza is not going to have a standing military, at least right now, but it will have some kind of police force. So those officers would need to be trained. Who's going to train them? Who's going to help them get ready to serve?
And Nancy, just as you're answering that question, we're looking at live footage, we believe, of Air Force One carrying President Trump arriving close to where you are, possibly in connection, as you mentioned, with those fighter jets we just heard scrambled as the president heads toward this summit to solidify phase 2 of this crucial peace agreement between Israelis and Palestinians. Nancy, we'll be staying close to your reporting throughout the day, joining us from Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. Thanks so much.